Here we go. I'm back, and the downside of all this wonderful community of people designing courses, and I've never used that phrase before, the downside is you go in the sim to play some golf and nothing's downloaded. I haven't got any of the courses. And with my internet, which is currently involving a satellite in the garden or in the farm, with three wireless extenders, including a hop of about 40 yards out here, it's a miracle it's working at all. But anyhow, it takes some time. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to just give you a quick what's in my sim, what are the products that I like that I recommend. And this is both Hybrid Me and just V8 Burble as a experienced simulator golfer. Firstly, we'll start with the launch monitor. Loads of options out there now. At the lowest price point, you've got the Garmin R10. Or at lowest price point that gives you kind of some kind of decent data. I really like the Garmin. I only had it for I don't know, a month or so before I kindly, I was kind, I sold it on below market value. And I thought it was a really sexy radar system. And if I was going to go for that kind of indoor cheap budget radar system to get me started, the Garmin R10 is what I would use. I would prefer it over the Mevo Plus just on the price point. I found the Mevo Plus had inaccuracies with spin axis at the time I tested it. That's just my personal opinion. And some of the comments are that it does struggle a bit more with some of the putting. It can be a challenge, particularly if you're wanting to compete with the guys that are using the good quality camera based systems that just give you a much more reliable reading. So that's where you jump up to. For an indoor simulator, I recommend a camera based setup, not a radar one. Outdoors, absolutely go with the radar, and it can track the ball flight for the whole of the ball flight or most of it, depending on which one it is. But I would be looking at, if I was spending money on my indoor simulator and I wanted to putt, SkyTrack would be the cheapest option that I could go for. I was a reseller for a number of years, and it was the only real budget entry to golf simulation that gave you accurate readings and the ability to putt with a level of accuracy. And I do say with a level of accuracy. There were some issues and challenges with like very little putts and short chips. And you suffer from a little bit of a delay and sometimes a fair few misreads or no reads. If I was looking at that kind of money, and if I could find the extra budget, and I appreciate these projects, there's always a limit you can get to, I'd be looking at a used GC2. I just sold mine a week ago. It was up for sale for quite some time, and they can be bought for between £2,500 and £3,000, for example, at the moment with the kind of market price. I sold mine pretty much at the lower end of that. Yeah, that would be absolutely what I'd recommend. I've used one for 10 years. I'm going to continue using one. It's fantastic, really reliable. You can connect it to third-party software like GS Pro, or if you've got preferred other software, you can do so. Then you're getting into, but it would be a used system. Now, my respect for the GC series, it's beautifully engineered, and they've been around for years, and they work for years, and I've had no issues with any of the ones I've owned over 10 years. And the only reason I've owned a few is because I've changed to a newer serial number and then sold my older one. But now that you do have other options like the Bushnell Launch Pro, the GC3, the GC Quad, for kind of floor-based camera systems, it does mean that you are looking at other options. If you want that assurance of a new product or warranty, then you can look at those. You just need to be careful that you get the right one and that you're able to connect it to the software of your choice. And there's Discord forums, you can go on the Facebook forums and get more information on how you can connect various devices to software like GS Pro. Then you're up to the ceiling mounted camera systems, things like the Unicore QED and the Unicore IXO being the newer model. The community love those, and the comments I see on the Discord forums are that they're fabulous. And if I had the height and the space, I would seriously consider having a ceiling mounted, probably the Unicore IXO, or is it the IXO2 that might be coming out soon? Was it announced at the PGA? I'm not entirely sure, but that would be serious consideration. For me, it would be either the Quad or it would be that. As it is, I've got a GC2 with HMT. It gives me everything I need, and I'm not going to change that in the near future. Though some people believe you can get slightly better putting now with things like the GC3 or the Unicores, even above the GC2, which was always kind of the gold standard for a while, which delivers better putting and consistency beyond things like the SkyTrack and the Mevo Plus. Anyhow, that's the launch monitor. Then we're on to projector. I'm using a 4K projector, the Optoma 4K 550 ST. It was, some people have picked them up for about £1,000 used on eBay in the last couple of years. Discontinued model. It is the short throw. The ST is important at the end. But when I went for my previous projector that was just a 1080p 3000 lumens, I went up to what I think is about 4,500 lumens. The extra sharpness is fabulous. It's not as vibrant and it doesn't have the contrast ratio is only 10,000 to 1. But for my golf simulation usage, for me watching some sports out here occasionally when it's not 2 degrees, I'm in front of a heater by the way. It's fabulous and absolutely love it. So I do recommend choosing a projector. You need to be very careful. It is one of the more complex bits of the project, and I can help amongst other people to make sure that you don't make a mistake in that area. PC, I've gone with a Chill Blast PC. There's many manufacturers that make custom PCs out there. It's about just trying to find something that is powerful enough. You need a very good dedicated graphics card to get a good experience, particularly if you're running 4K. You're going to be looking at things like the ideally the 3080 card and above in terms of the NVIDIA cards. But you can get by with lower cards, and you just change the settings in your software like GS Pro to not be running on Ultra, run on a lower graphic settings. So there is a bit of flexibility. Prices aren't great these days. With shortages of components, you are going to pay a fair amount. But there's lots out there, and there's loads of advice around what specs you need. Do your research. Please search the forums. And I do say search the forums. Don't just post lazily, I want a PC, what am I looking for? There's so much information out there. You can find that. Again, I'm happy to work with you. I'm now offering a consultancy package with Hybrid Me where I can sit with you and go through all of these things and make sure that we spend a day just specifying everything you're going to need. It won't be buying everything through me. It would be finding the best products out there in the market. Then on to a monitor. I recommend you have a third monitor. So you've got your impact screen. We'll get onto that. But I also recommend that you do have another display. It's helpful for being able to aim your shots. You can do that with things like Bluetooth keyboards and handheld keyboards on your impact screen. It's just not as nice an experience as going over to a monitor, in my opinion, and being able to aim your putts. I've got an LCD TV. I think it's 55 inch, might be 50 inch. LCD, LED. And then I went onto Amazon and just stuck an infrared frame around it. You can buy them for, I don't know, typically about £200 from various locations. They tend to be unbranded, and it's just an IR frame that you put around any existing TV bezel, and it will turn it into touchscreen, and then you plug it into your PC, and it's fabulous. It means I've now got a very large touchscreen monitor, which I absolutely love. I do have another screen which I use for the for being able to see OBS and recording and setting up, or maybe data, or maybe playing music, but that's a luxury. I definitely think you'll need two if you've got the room for it and the budget for it, but having a third screen can be helpful where you may want separate data being displayed. Then on to the kind of more critical components. Your mat and your screen. This is what Hybrid Me are focused on. We can help you with the whole package, and I'm now evolving the business, putting a bit more effort into, I will be redesigning the website and getting that kind of business to where it needs to be. However, I use the same products that I'm selling, and I think they're fabulous. So firstly, I hit off of the T-Turf mat. This is called the T40. It's a thick pile, 40mm T-Turf mat. It's got a foam backing, and it just means it's honest. You're not going to get any of that harsh bounce off the bottom of the mat that you get with very kind of hard bald mats. And you're also not going to be getting away with any kind of skid through and lazily wafting your hands at the ball. You need to concentrate on getting a good impact, and it does have a little bit of give for you to being able to hit down and through. So it will, it's honest. It doesn't mask anything, and I would say it's just a tiny bit more punishing than a lush fairway, but I like it that way, that it keeps me concentrating in the sim. It feels good, and I'm not a good wedge player, and I can chunk my wedges in here like I should. It's not like the ball's sitting up in higher fibres and allowing me just to casually waft the club underneath and get a good launch, which some other mats, I'm not going to can do. So I heartily recommend T40. I choose to stand on a separate stance mat. You can stand on the T40. It's not that spongy. It just has a little bit of give. I prefer to reduce that little bit of give to the minimum. That's why I have a separate stance mat. For my impact screen, I'm using the Hybrid Me Premium material. It's a raw screen, so they're so easy to fix. You just grip the edges of the screen with Tart clips. You fix the Tart clips to either little eye plates. Either little eye plates that you can just hook them onto with a ball bungee. Or you could have slotted angle iron on your walls and just use the holes in that to put it on. But you don't have to be concerned with getting eyelets put in and making sure that they're to the necessary spec and the distance. You just fold a little bit more, a little bit less material in on the edges to get the tensioning you need. It delivers a great image that, you know, is it going to be as sharp and as bright as you'd get with a dedicated cinema screen? No, it's not going to have that kind of gain, and it's not going to be designed for that. It's designed to stop golf balls at high speeds. However, I can happily see 4K on it. It's really clear. You get that definition, and I can happily watch sports out here. Yeah, from the impact screens I've tested and used, I think it's the best I've seen, and it's what we sell at Hybrid Me. And beyond that, you need some spotlights. I'm not going to go through bulbs, light bulbs. I've got a far infrared heater. It's absolutely freezing in here today. I'm in t-shirt. That's because I can just come in here, turn it on, and within like 2-3 seconds, in this area where I'm hitting and when I'm aiming my shots, I'm getting warmed up. The rest of the barn and the sim area is absolutely freezing. If I had a fan heater, that would cost me way more, and I'd have to come and turn it on like an hour, 2 hours before I get out here just to get it up to speed. Unless you have a really high powered one. But yeah, far infrared heater works beautifully for me. The golf tees I'm using are the K2 golf tees. I've just published a video showing my thoughts after 1 week of using them. I'll let you look at that video to get that answer. And beyond that, I've got 5.1 surround sound in here. It's when I'm listening to music, it's if I occasionally watch movies. I've just got cheap speakers, satellite speakers, a subwoofer, and an amp there that I put everything through. It's overkill for my golf sim usage. I just have 2 little speakers. But if I am going to be multi-purposing it for like a cinema room, it's good to have. For years now, well, probably the whole 10 years, I've used the Logitech K400 Plus, I think it is. It might be K410 keyboard. The battery lasts for absolutely ages. It's got the touchscreen pad at the side. It's fine. I do most of my interaction with the touchscreen monitor, but when I'm actually aiming putts, I do like to sometimes drag them using the touchpad. Funny enough, I can't. Now I'm looking at it, I don't remember, am I using the touchscreen or am I using the pad? But as soon as I hit my first green, I hope I hit one today, I will know the answer to that question. I don't have a golf club stand. I just line my golf clubs up at the side. I dabbled with stands in the past. It's just easier for me to lay them out in order, and then I just grab them based upon how far they are from the edge, so I don't even need to see the numbers. Golf balls, I like to use Pro V1s, which I used for years, but now I go with the Vice Pro. That's probably my preferred golf ball. I think they're brilliant. Still at the more expensive end, but I find the durability to be on par with things like the Pro V1s. I didn't get quite the same experience with Snell MTBX. They would crack for me. Chrome Softs would crack. The Bridgestone B330s would crack in the sim environment. Pro V1s, the Vice Pro, and someone recently on Discord had mentioned trying out the Z-Star XV Srixon golf balls, which are a bit cheaper. They're working fine as well. No issues there. And the golf clubs, I talk about it all the time. Who cares about the golf clubs? Use your own golf clubs. And that's what I use. I don't pad the right wall or the left wall. I wish I had done the left more because I throw clubs at it and I attack it. I've got some cloth there that give me that kind of black backdrop and would frame the image, except I've attacked the cloth now. It's got holes in it everywhere. But no shots can hit that left-hand side. It's impossible for me to get a shot to do that unless I do something stupid. With a 4.5 metre wide space, almost 5, my shanks don't, I think, hit the side wall directly either. So it's cosmetic that it's over there. If you've got a smaller space, of course, you need to look at padding. But you may just decide just to put some cloth over there. I mean, what's the damage a ball going over and hitting your wall is going to do? That's down to your build and whether that's important. Some people go and spend more on upholstered cushions and things. That's entirely up to them. For the ceiling protection, which is important because my screen is only 2.3 or high, I think, at the front. I've just got some some carpet, artificial grass carpet. That I've staple gunned to the ceiling, allowed it to droop down a bit like baffles, and any shot that goes up there hits it. Occasionally a golf ball will go through that joint, the gap, and I'll pick it up behind the screen. That's my setup. Hope that's useful to somebody. I'm going to go and play some golf. I'm actually going to stop the video there because I want this to be a slightly shorter one. But I'm going to tee up now on the next video. See you in a few moments.